Our starting point this morning, the number of confirmed cases here in South Korea has shot up over 5,600 and the death toll still on the rise.
Now, the spread of the new coronavirus is also affecting South Korean corporations.
Hyundai Motor is gradually suspending production assembly lines in the country, an inevitable decision as there are disruptions in supply of parts from China, where many factories are shuttered due to the outbreak. The South Korean firm has become the first major global car maker to do so.
With the coronavirus outbreak spooking many people here in South Korea, local industries are on an emergency footing as well, scrapping business trips and bringing back its workers based overseas.
While hundreds of countries around the world are continuing to shut down due to the effects of the coronavirus, South Korea is beginning to open back up. Why is this? South Korea's response has been strong when compared to countries like the United States that have not been as exposed to such viruses for an extended period of time. To understand how South Korea is overcoming the outbreak, let's begin by discussing the country's prior experience in disease outbreaks.
We have to divide the phase of coronavirus situation. At the first phase, I think we did really well. But that was maybe because Korean government and society learned the lesson from previous pandemic situations like SARS and MERS.
In the early 2000s, South Korea was afflicted with severe acute respiratory syndromes, SARS, and in 2005 there was an outbreak of Middle East Respiratory Syndrome, MERS. Experiencing both SARS and MERS in the last 2 decades provided citizens the awareness of fast-spreading coronavirus severity. This instilled the urgency for citizens to adhere to the set social rules across the country. During the MERS outbreak, many medical professionals were infected, further stressing the importance of employee education on the prevention of infection at healthcare institutions. Therefore, at coronavirus's start, it was clear that this disease is worse than MERS, and accurate information about the virus still needed to be obtained. Back in 2015, the South Korean Ministry of Health and Welfare officials rejected requests for MERS tests from Samsung Medical Center as infected individuals did not meet criteria for diagnosis. If nothing changed about how coronavirus is handled compared to MERS in South Korea, then the fear of the past repeating itself arose. South Korea wanted to avoid echoing the MERS tragedy, which resulted in the loss of 38 lives.
South Korea will launch an emergency research team in order to develop treatment for the novel coronavirus. The Science Ministry revealed plans to inject $4.2 million into a task force within the month to identify the most urgent medical needs. The government will prioritize developing a rapid test kit for a faster diagnosis and improving the drugs currently being used in the treatment of the coronavirus. Other pressing tasks include analyzing the properties of the disease and any transmission patterns seen around the world.
The new kits, which have been temporarily approved out of concerns about the continued spread of the virus, identifies the virus by amplifying 2 specific genes. Compared to the 2-stage conventional test kits, the newly developed ones only require single-step testing. Moreover, the new kits can speed up the process by reducing the time for detection to just 6 hours from 24 to 48 hours.
Besides their experience in handling virus outbreaks across the country, many cultural factors have benefited the South Korean people in curbing the spread of coronavirus. First, it is common practice in many Asian countries that citizens should avoid causing trouble to those around them. More clearly, meaning that not taking care of oneself, if one becomes ill, is seen as causing difficulties for other people. Second, South Korean society places an emphasis on discipline and community. They function as a collectivist culture where being self-sacrificing, dependable, generous, and helpful to others is of great importance. Collectivist culture nurtures strong relationships where each member takes responsibility for other members of the group. Third, like many Asian countries, there is a hierarchical society in South Korea, creating a power distance where most citizens obey government rules, and people accept the hierarchical order where everybody has a place that needs no further justification. Fourth, South Korea exhibits high uncertainty avoidance. South Korean society maintains rigid codes of belief and behavior, being intolerant of the unorthodox. Uncertainty avoidance is the extent to which the members of a culture feel threatened by ambiguous or unknown situations and have created beliefs and institutions. South Korea scores as one of the most pragmatic long-term oriented societies. To equate a society's long-term orientation, one looks at the way the country maintains links with the past while dealing with challenges of the present or future. Meaning South Korean citizens live their lives guided by virtues and practical good example. They learn from past mistakes. Finally, South Korean society is one of restraint rather than indulgence. Indulgence being the extent to which people try to control their desire and impulses. People with this orientation perceive their actions as restrained by social norms.
The cultural difference played a certain role in how governments deal with coronavirus in many countries. Like in Korea, when a case occurs, then government immediately start to trace where that person visited and he met whom, and that kind of thing, and so on. And what I heard is actually that kind of measurement would be a little bit difficult to do in many Western societies because that is a sensitive issue. Maybe that is very difficult to be compatible with a sense of liberty or freedom in Western society. But people seems like less sensitive about that kind of issue.
Local businesses are encouraging employees to work from home. Also, more people are requesting for non-contact food delivery. That means asking the delivery person to leave the food at select points, then you pick it up later.
Now, every morning here in Seoul, there's an intense rush of traffic and a swell of commuters squeezing like sardines almost into subway trains and buses as they make their way to work. But since the coronavirus outbreak, workers have been working remotely from home where they can, using the latest digital tools available to them. Now, given the convenience it offers over long and often exhausting trips to and from work, experts say it's a trend that could outlast this virus.
Working remotely can eliminate office stress and hectic commutes, but for some people, it can be a burden.
I have to take care of my children because all the kindergartens and schools are postponing the new semester. After being told to stay home, I work and look after my kids at the same time.
South Korea implemented their emergency child care protocol called ECC for parents dealing with school closure and work-at-home policies. ECC states that if daycares refuse to provide, parents can send complaints to the government, which may lead to suspension of operations for up to 6 months. For facilities unable to provide such services, the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family will send a child care professional to each household. Seoul then took initiative to shut down more than 400 hostess bars, nightclubs, and discos as of April 8, 2020, only one day after finding several female bar employees had contracted the virus. The Prime Minister then acted quickly and ordered gyms to close and restaurants to check the temperatures of customers before allowing them in.
South Korea will take legal action against churches that have violated the government's guidelines on containing COVID.
The government notified the country that they may file damage claims against churches and businesses that become linked to infections after failing to employ preventive measures, ensuring each business would treat their employees as their first priority. South Korea then began allowing employees to create a flexible commuting system. This system minimized the use of public transportation during rush hours. Major companies followed by allowing employees to work from home, have flexible working hours if they were in danger of easily contracted coronavirus, pregnant women, parents with young children, and those with underlying diseases. Then the startup programs also released applications to help individuals work remotely. South Korea has the work from home ability due to 5 major online team systems. Jandy is a team chat tool established in 2014. It combines messaging and file sharing systems onto one platform. This system supports English, Korean, Japanese, and simplified Chinese, as it is used across companies in South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and Singapore. Big Canvas is a virtual whiteboard that creates a sharing space for collaboration and presentation developed by Korean startup Osiris System. This cloud-based system allows real-time collaboration with upload capabilities from any type of media device. It includes video conferencing, version control, and Canvas encryption. Send Anywhere is the software with the ability to share files of any size and shape with any devices or platform without degradation in quality. Developed by Korean startup Eastmode, this system can send files to any platform including iOS, Android Web, macOS, and Windows for free. Art Support is a remote work software provider offering corporations free use of its remote meeting solution to help overcome the crisis. And lastly, Classroom provides online teaching services to school, educational institutes, and other learning professionals suffering from school closures and canceled classes. This allows for questions, notices, notes, feedback, surveys, and anything else needed to conduct a class through the platform. South Korea has also been able to avoid panic buying, a major issue occurring in countries internationally. Panic buying has many negative effects, like leading to the elderly not being able to get what is needed. Panic buying results from a lack of awareness about the situation. South Korea was quickly made aware of the virus spread and took immediate action.
We have very well-developed e-commerce. It's super quick and also really comfortable and convenient to use it.
The main reason for this is the trust the citizens have in their government and local stores. The trust in the system comes from fast information sharing. The production and distribution industry also has responded quickly to shortage issues, while the government was transparent and providing quick medical testing, leading to decreased spread of fear, allowing citizens to remain calm. At the start of the outbreak, citizens only purchased more rice and water than usual during the first high alert warning by the government. South Korea has a variety of choices to purchase essentials, seeing how convenience stores and local supermarkets are available within every 100 meters. The common culture of food delivery helped to make social distancing easier. Food delivery has fast shipping within e-commerce, allowing citizens to get what they need quickly and easily. Volunteers in Gyeonggi Province also have helped locals by delivering packages of instant food and local specialties to those in self-quarantine. Their donations consist of about $82 worth of food paid for by provincial government. They plan to deliver between 1,500 and 2,000 boxes of food to those within the province, totaling to 15,000 boxes to Daegu residents. Overall, the prior experience, cultural factors, and system put in place by the South Korean government strengthened and unified the country during the outbreak and spread of coronavirus. The complete transparency of the issue and the fast response time from officials has allowed South Korea to be one of the only nations globally to curb the spread of the disease.